enjoy. Ah, Brian Olin was a gentleman born. His hair it was long and his beard unshorn. His teeth they stuck out and his eyes they stuck in. Sure, I'm a wonderful beauty, says Brian Olin. Brian Olin was a gentleman born. He lived at a time with no clothes, they were worn. But his fashion went out, and of course Brian walked in. Who I'll lead the fashions, says Brian Olin. And Brian Olin had no breeches to wear. He got him a sheepskin to make him a pair, with the fleshy side out and the woolly side in. Ooh, they're pleasant and cool, says Brian Olin. And Brian Olin had no shirt to his back. He went to his neighbour's and borrowed a sack. And then he puckered the meal bag up under his chin. Ooh, they'll take them for ruffles, says Brian Olin. And Brian Olin had no hat to his head. He thought that the pot would do him instead. Then he murdered a cod for the sake of its fin. Ooh, 'twill pass for a feather, says Brian Olin. And Brian Olin was hard up for a coat, with the horns sticking out from his oxsters and ben. Ooh, they'll take them for pistols, said Brian Olin. And Brian Olin had no stockings to wear. He bought him a rat's skin to make him a pair. He then drew them on and they fitted his chin. Who their elegant wear, says Brian Olin. And Brian Olin had no brogues to his toes. He hopped on 2 crab shells to serve him for those. Then he split up 2 oysters that matched like twins. Who they'll shine out like buckles, says Brian Olin. And Brian Olin had no watch to put on. He scooped out a turnip to make him a one. Then he planted a cricket in under the skin. Says, who? There's a tickin', says Brian Olin. And Brian Olin to his house had no door. He'd the sky for a roof and the bog to the floor. He'd a way to jump out and a way to swim in. Oh, it's very convenient, says Brian Olin. Brian Olin, his wife's mother's mother, they all went home o'er the bridge together. The bridge it broke down and they all tumbled in. Who will go home by water, says Brian Olin. I am a young sailor. My story is sad. Though once I was carefree and a brave sailor lad, I courted a lassie by night and by day. Ah, but now she has left me and sailed far away. If I was a blackbird, I'd whistle and sing. I'd follow the vessel that my true love sails in. And in top of the rigging, I would there build my nest, and I'd flutter my wings o'er her lily-white breast. Or if I was a scholar, and could handle the pen, one secret love letter to my true love I'd send, and tell of my sorrow, my grief, and my pain, since she's gone and left me in yon flowery glen. Oh, if I was a blackbird, I'd whistle and sing, I'd follow the vessel that my true love sails in, and on top of the rigging I'd there build my nest, and I'd flutter my wings o'er lily white breast. Though I missed her caress and her kiss on my cheek, I returned and I told her my love was still warm, but she turned away lightly, and great was her scorn, and I offered to take her to Donnybrook Fair. Oh, if I was a blackbird, I'd whistle and sing. I'd follow the vessel that my true love sails in, and on top of the rigging I would there build my nest, and I'd flutter my wings o'er lily white breast, and to buy her fine ribbons to tie up her hair, I offered to marry and to stay by her side, but she says in the morning she sails with the tide. My parents, they chide me and will not abide, and if I was a blackbird, I'd whistle and sing. I'd follow the vessel that my true love sails in, and on top of the rigging I would there build my nest, and I'd flutter my wings o'er lily white breast. I sailed o'er the ocean, my fortune to seek, and my parents, they chide me, oh, they will not agree, saying that me and my false love should ne'er marry thee. Oh, let them deprive me and do as they will. Well, there's breath in my body, she's the one I love still. And if I were a blackbird, I'd whistle and sing. I'd follow the vessel, flutter my wings o'er her lily white breast. Fast, Joan. Let's see if I can go there with this one. I know my love by his way of walking, and I know my love by his way of talking, and I know my love dressed all in a suit of blue. And if my love leaves me, what will I do? And still she cried, I love him the best, and a troubled mind sure can know no rest. And still she cried, bonny boys are few, and if my love leaves me, what will I do? There is a dance house in Mardyke, and there my true love goes every night. He makes a strange girl upon his knee. Well, now don't you think that vexes me? And still she cried, I loved him the best, and a troubled mind, sure I know no rest. And still she cried, bonny boys are few, and if my love leaves me, what will I do? And if my love I can wash and wring, if my love new I can sew and spin, I'll make a coat of the finest kind. But the want of money sure leaves me behind. And still she cried, I love him the best, and a troubled mind sure can know no rest. And still she cried, bonny boys are few, and if my love leaves me, what will I do? And and still she cried, I love him the best, and a troubled mind sure can know no rest. And still she cried, bonny boys are few, and if my love leaves me, what will I do? Webpage, all of the above. One more time, tip jar, https://www.paypal.me/Amelia Hogan. Subscribe to the channel. I am always excited to sing for listening friends. We were traveling north to sing and play for friends that we had never met. Been working hard and didn't speak. The sky was grey and threatened wet, and I dreamed that I saw unicorns. Dreamed I saw them wild and white. Their sudden beauty lit the world like a star will light a winter's night. Pure as love with manes of milk, they danced and pranced and cried aloud. Bright as rainbows round the stars, their eyes were soft and sad and proud. And I wept for the wild and dirty world to which this beauty now was lost. And I cursed the hungry mind of man that feeds the future at such cost. My head was bowed, my eyes were closed, when in my ears their voices rang. And these few words lodged deep inside, and in my very soul I sang. We never went away. You always knew that we were near. Remember how to look for us. You'll find we're always here. I raised my eyes to seek them out. The world was empty all around. The rain came tumbling from the sky. It drowned all dreams upon the ground. And when they asked me why I wept, like one for whom his dead love mourns, the only answer I could give, I dreamed that there were unicorns. But we never went away. You always knew that we were near. Remember how to look for us. You'll find we're always here. You'll find we're always here. It's a thing. Oh, we twidden about the braes and pulled the gowans fine, but we wandered many a weary fit, sin days of old lang syne. We twa paddled out the burn from morning sun till dine, but the seas between us braidly roared, sin old lang syne. For old lang syne, my Jo, for old lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet. For my trusty fear, and gives a hand of thine, and we'll take a right good willing walk for old lang syne, for old lang syne, my Joe, for old lang syne. We'll take a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne. Should all acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne? For old lang syne, my Joe, for old lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne.